Kick it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another fun and exciting episode of Hardheaded. With me, as always, the infamous Matt Amos. To my right, Chet Sears. And I am Three Shot, a.k.a. Troy Trussell.
That's the Three Amigos. What does infamous mean? Like they're famous.
In.
Chet, I've been waiting on this day for like 6 days.
Okay.
What is on your mind, sir?
This could be a rant. I'm going to try to calm myself down.
I'm ready. I'm ready for
White lines on the road and how people don't know what they mean.
Oh, this is good.
Just burns me up. It happens too often. And I'm just going to have to say some things to the people of Wichita, Kansas about your lack of understanding white lines on a road. And it may be in your neighborhood too. I don't know, wherever you're listening in podcast world. But the you're looking at me like, oh no, I'm a Wichita driver. I'm probably do this.
My truck doesn't let me. Go ahead.
I know exactly what you're going to say because my wife and I had an argument about this a week ago.
Well, there's a couple things. Number one, merging. The people of Wichita feel that they should have merged onto whatever road they're trying to merge onto before the solid white line ends. And then the dashes, they're like premature mergers. Like they have to merge fast. Like they're not going to use the lane to get up there. They're just going to go, getting on the interstate, getting, on your turn, you're from a right-hand turn lane, you turn right and then you get, I'm crossing solid white lines. Burns me up. Number two, and then the people braking to let them in to do that is another thing that drives me nuts. You don't slow down to no, that doesn't happen. But the white lines at a stop sign or a traffic light.
You mean the crosswalk?
No, the way it's designed is there's a crosswalk, but then before that, there is actually a white line where you should stop.
That's the line to stop for the crosswalk.
Guilty.
To stop for the traffic light. You don't stop for the crosswalk. That's where you stop for the traffic light.
I stopped for the crosswalk. I don't know what white line you're talking about.
Jeez.
In Matt's defense, a lot of them are pretty worn down in most places.
Well, here, crosswalk, and then you have this big line.
I'll put this awesome graphic.
I consider that part of the crosswalk.
You stop before that line.
Yeah, but that's because you don't want to hit the people in the crosswalk.
That's fine. But
I don't use it because of the light.
You stay there though until it turns green.
Yes.
Then we're okay. You can stop for whatever you want to stop there for. As long as you're stopping there, it's okay.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I was driving to work the other day, and some lady had driven over that line, like into the crosswalk, and so she's in the turn right, lane to turn right, and I'm right behind her. She throws it in reverse and starts backing up, and I'm like, and I'm still slowing down at this point, and I've already made my decision. Like I've calculated how much distance I need to stop. Not to rear end her, but then she starts backing up, and then I've got to start braking harder and faster. And then my dog in the back is like, "Dude, what's going on? You're braking too fast." And now I'm basically thrown into the seat.
That's bad. So don't back up.
So if you get to that line and you're over it, you've already made your mistake.
Do not back up.
Accept it and don't back up.
But that'd be your last time. Never cross that line again. Like that's got to stop. Like there's a 4-way stop sign not too far from my house that I have to go through all the time. And like, there are people that just they're like, I'm supposed to stop where my bumper would rub up against the car going across the intersection. Like there's like no lines don't matter. I'm just going to pull up as far as I can not to get hit and not get hit. That's got to stop, people. I'm telling you, it's wearing me out.
It's no laughing matter.
No, and I will say
because you do it. You're guilty. I could see.
I am guilty.
So, I will say, one of the worst ones is that new on ramp that they just did with 235 Kellogg interchange. So when you're going north on 235 and you get off to go west on Kellogg, it takes you up that big ramp.
Yeah.
You go over it, and then that solid white line lasts almost until you get to dang near Walmart. And it's a solid white line. You're not supposed to cross it. But then I've got people in front of me going this way, people behind me. And then when I actually get up there to try to merge in, everybody's already there. It just creates a cluster in traffic.
I know, but so you don't change your behavior though.
I don't.
We have to get other people to change their behavior because our society is breaking down. It's just so evident. There are rules and they need to be followed. We don't need to come up with a new set of rules that go against what all of our training is and where everybody else in the world actually treats that kind of stuff.
And I'll get behind you there. And I'm going to guess that probably 99% of those people also chew with their mouth open or eat
or probably
and talk at the same time or bite their spoons.
They were
whatever.
probably fans of the Tampa Bay too. And they were, wanting them to win the Super Bowl. Bunch of those kind of people.
Yeah,
that's what's been on my. I see it it's getting worse, and we've got to put our foot down and just hey, it's not cool to do that.
How can we fight back against this tyranny, Chet?
We need a hashtag first.
Number
that's how
one,
all society changes is with a hashtag.
Well, right. I don't know,
or hash brown or whatever it's called.
Hashtag solid white line. Hashtag.
I don't know how to do that. I'm
hashtag
just saying,
white lines, which might get you some other traffic.
But I think your point of, well, everybody else is doing it now, good. I'm going to have to get it. No, refuse to follow along and just know that you're right. I'm going to stick to my guns. This is the way that the law has me drive. And if everybody would start doing this, start doing it more. And if you don't know, don't cross a solid white line. Like that's not, you're not supposed to do that. So if you're listening to this and you're here for the first time, I forgive you, but we need to change our behavior. Let's get behind this. Let's be civilized.
I can definitely get behind that because I typically follow those rules.
All right, I'll start following those.
Come on, man.
He's I mean, he can't pay attention. He's got the ice maker in his freaking car. He can't. He's too busy.
I'm mixing
he's
drinks.
Too busy making cocktails.
Yes.
Screw that line.
White lines.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so that's what's been on my mind lately. It's been pretty frustrating, and it's just not getting any better. It's not. And on my way to work this morning, I happened to catch peak traffic at commute traffic at the heavy populated areas, I guess, and it was just rampant. Like people just go forward before you don't need to stop in this lane to try to turn, put your signal on and literally like almost do like a 90-degree turn to just use the merge lane, like pull forward.
So along that line, I know because you're trying to move on, but construction zones, when they narrow it down from 2 lanes or 3 lanes to 1 lane, do you get in line and just follow the line knowing that, hey, it's all the way up there. It might be a half a mile, 3/4 mile up there. Do I go ahead and merge now or are you that guy that keeps in that right lane and passes everybody and then gets all the way to the front and then cuts in?
That's a complicated question.
I don't think it's that complicated.
It has several different scenarios.
Which driver are you? Because then that tells me how seriously I'm going to take you on your white line debacle.
I will tell you this. If you're driving and you see road construction signs that say right lane closed, merge left, do it. And if they set this up well enough to have time to do that, then go ahead and do it. Oklahoma's notorious for those signs are too late. Like, so you're going to end up with, some people that drive that, route routinely, they know this, they're already over there. But if there's like 3 miles of people in the left lane and then like maybe even you merged, like there was an entrance that you got on past that and everybody's backed up and 2 miles ahead is where the lane's closed, but nobody's in the right lane. They're already merged over to the left. Yeah, you can ease your way down into that. You don't come to a dead stop on an interstate without anything in front of you. You just don't do that. You are asking to get hurt or for other people to hurt you. You need to, and I'm not saying you don't do the speed limit. And normally if you're moving along with the not this, oh, I got everybody, I'm going to get way up ahead in the line. You're just I'm going to ease along.
It doesn't matter because every person that does that, that's what I'm thinking that they're thinking in their head. This person's like, ha, I'm not going to wait.
But if they're going 70 and doing that, that's what they're doing. But what if they're going 35 and they're signaling and
if they're already
looking at everybody?
Now, if they're going 35 and they're signaling, no problem with that.
I'm a proponent of that.
No problem with that. But I'm telling you right now, if you're that guy that's going 70,
I'm not that guy.
And you're in this little Prius or you're in something, my truck is going to make its way over to that lane and going to block you from going any further. That's just that's one of the things that really I'm not really either anymore. Yeah. I've 2021, like I said, I've been trying to be more positive, and so I'm taking those things, and I'm not yelling at people in my car anymore.
It doesn't help you to yell at people while you're in your car.
It doesn't. And so I've given that up. And I just said, you know what? Maybe they just need to be somewhere more important than I do.
Maybe you bring it up on a podcast and people will start to get behind you.
Yeah. So to whoever that lady,
literally get behind you. Don't pass me.
Yeah. Get behind me. Don't pass me. I'm already doing probably over what I should. But I will say, bringing it up on the podcast, if you are that lady that threw it into reverse, I mean, I had trouble forgiving you day of. I've forgiven you. Don't do it again, because
yes,
when your little car is backing up and you've got an F-350 coming up right behind you, that's not probably the brightest thing to do.
Sounds like he's a late breaker.
So I need to. Well, not really. I mean, I just time it. You know, I mean, everybody times their braking distance. Like, oh, okay, I need to time this, and I need to start braking here.
Okay.
I'm fairly decent driver. I mean, for driving with hand controls and having a dog in the back and no legs. I mean, geez.
You do well.
Jeez.
Jeez, cut him some slack, Chet.
He's good. He's a good driver.
But I forgive I forgive that lady of that day of, though. It was pretty tough. So if she's listening.
I've been backed into in a similar scenario. I was already stopped. Like everybody came to a stop, and then the person in front of me is like, I'm going to back up now. He was probably about 102 years old and shouldn't have been on the road. But all he did was bust that little license plate bracket on my front bumper. So
this is when I need to get in on my vehicle upgrades and get that bumper put on there. And then, hey, back up all you want, because you're going to tear your stuff up, not mine. I don't care.
I'll just spray paint it.
All right.
So anyway.
But then, so legally speaking, because typically if you run into the back of somebody, am I legally responsible because I was too close?
I don't know.
In my situation, I saw him start to do it, and I was gonna start backing up, but I even put it in reverse. But there was a FedEx truck right behind me, and no room. So I'm like, well, here we go. I'll be the one that gets hit. I'm not gonna hit a FedEx truck just to avoid getting backed into. It's a guy driving a Toyota Tacoma or a Tundra.
There you go. All right, let's take the fast lane into our top threes.
Have you been waiting on that? You've been sitting on that?
I've been sitting on that for like 5 minutes.
So we go from your annoyances, because we have Valentine's Day coming up.
That's right.
And so now we shift from your hate-filled rant about white lines.
That's a strong word.
To
there's the.
I see hashed lines there.
That's white, colored in solid white line. Duh.
We need a scale.
I'm the graphic artist, not this guy.
Obviously. But moving over to
top
love
three
and romantic items. So what do you have for us today, Troy?
Top 3 movies, romantic movies that are okay for men to watch.
So we did, just to let our listeners know, we did have a discussion about this, because I basically called it male friendly.
No, male romantic movies.
No, I didn't. It was not male romantic movies.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It was male friendly.
Pull it up.
Male friendly romantic movies. Matter of fact,
I don't even know if that's better.
It's not.
Yeah, it actually
male
says,
friendly romantic movies.
So basically, what I was trying to get from that was movies that guys
enjoyed watching with their significant other.
That their significant other's like, oh, that could potentially be a romance story.
I'll watch this with you.
Yeah. But now we'll
both be glad that we watched the movie.
Yes. Now we've changed it to romantic movies for Valentine's Day.
That both men and women would enjoy watching.
Well, that was just, you told me this morning that was too long of a title.
Yeah. Well,
but now we're using it.
Now we're
monopolizing 30 seconds talking about it.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. Chet, what you got on your number 3?
I'm going to fact check Matt on did we actually use 30 seconds or not? because he's into fact checking.
Jiff.
So, number 3, Last of the Mohicans.
I get behind that.
All right.
It's got a love story in it. And,
it's been a while.
Number 2.
Is that because it was on the screen like last week?
I don't know.
We started that. So here in the office, during lunchtime, I'll typically flip on the
movie or something.
Yeah, Netflix or something like that, and just put something on, or YouTube, whatever. And YouTube now has movies available that you can watch.
That was Dances with Wolves.
Oh, that was Dances with Wolves.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know
So
what
I'm
you were talking
thinking,
about.
okay, yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, now I'm on track with you because I was thinking.
Yeah. So, number 2, The Saint.
Yeah.
With
Val Kilmer
and Elizabeth Shue.
Yep.
That's a good little romance, but kind of like a spy action movie.
Yeah. I can see that.
Number 1, Red Dawn.
Okay. Romance?
Dude, the remember the Air Force colonel who gets shot down?
Yeah.
Yeah. That Leah, what's her face character?
Leah Thompson.
Yeah, she falls in love with him. There's a little bit of a love story in there.
That's a stretch.
Well, anything to get Red Dawn, to get to watch another Red Dawn. I mean, and then the dad, the dad, he's in the re-education camp, avenge me. That's sad. Like I guess a female watching that movie would be like, oh.
That was probably one of the worst crying scenes.
No, that was real, man.
In a movie that I've seen.
Oscar worthy.
So now when you say Red Dawn, are you talking about
the only one from 1984?
Yeah, he
You're not talking about the new one.
No, sequels are terrible. Or not even sequels, remakes. Sorry.
Remake.
It's horrible. Yeah. That does not exist.
So what's funny about
if you would have named that something different, nobody would ever known that was a remake because it was that far off. It was bad.
Yeah, I'd agree.
What's funny is that's one of those movies that I hadn't seen before, the remake, and so I downloaded it and took it on a trip, and it's the only movie that actually downloaded and would play, and so I watched because I have to have something on to go to sleep.
The 2012.
Yep. And so I watched it probably 50 times because I push play and then I'll wake up if it turns off and then I just push play again. And my roommate.
If it was the 1984 Red Dawn, you wouldn't have fallen asleep because it's that good. You'd have just stayed and watched it every night.
I fell asleep during that one too.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's my top 3.
It's a great movie.
And more than likely, if any time I could weave in Red Dawn to a top 3 movies list, I probably will. Just fair warning. But there's 2. The love of a father and a son, and then that whole colonel, you could tell. So that's a romance movie.
All right. Well, I'll go next. Number 3 on the list, Just Friends.
Never heard of it.
Ryan Reynolds and
can't remember her name. But yeah, Ryan Reynolds. It's a movie. He's falls in love with her, and he's like chubby, and they're like just friends.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen that.
Like wears one of those fat suits in the movie.
I got you.
Pretty funny, good enough. Not too girly, good enough for me to sit down and watch. So
yeah,
I put that in the top 3. So that was a stretch. Number 1 and 2 are really easy for me to come up with. That one was.
But you need your notes.
That Ryan Reynolds Sandra Bullock movie was a pretty good one too.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
She was his boss.
Where the dog.
Betty White's in it.
The dog got taken up by the eagle or whatever. Yeah. That was pretty funny. Number 2, Better Off Dead. John Cusack. 1980 something.
Don't know that I've seen that one.
Oh,
I probably have. It's been forever.
You've got to see that movie.
Yeah.
You've never seen that movie either? Oh my gosh. All right. They have to watch Better Off Dead by the next podcast.
Maybe.
It's great movie.
Gonna be pretty busy this week.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he has a love interest throughout the whole thing and meets a foreign exchange student. It's just great. You got to watch it. It's got skiing in it, like snow skiing down a mountain. It's great. And number 1, The Princess Bride, by far. That is number one romantic comedy that man and woman will just, and children alike, will just love that movie.
My wife hates it.
Except for your wife.
But I will agree because I like it. There's so many quotable moments.
As you wish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Seinfeld of movies. You can pull out a quote for almost anything.
I hear Billy Crystal didn't even have a script. They just gave him a scenario and started recording, and all his little quips and all that kind of stuff were just made up.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really good. Love that movie.
This is a good movie. I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, fire away.
All right. So since you guys basically nuked my labels and you went through and then you tried to pigeonhole me into romantic comedies and whatever.
These could be anything.
Yeah. So my number one romantic movie for me of all time, Braveheart.
I could definitely see that.
Okay.
So the whole reason is, I mean, it's that girl,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, there's not too many people out there that are going to say, I'm not going to watch that. It's just all around one of the best movies of all time.
There's a lot of people out there that are just going to say, because and I know I have some movies on the list that are in the same boat. Hey, honey, it's Valentine's Day. Let's snuggle up and watch a movie. Oh yeah, let's get Braveheart. Let's
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sit down for about 3.5 hours.
Right.
It's a good time. Number 2, The Wedding Singer.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can watch that movie anytime. It doesn't matter. Adam Sandler is a genius when it comes to melding romance that men will watch and women will like to watch.
Yeah. And good comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Good one.
And there's a lot of quotable moments from that movie as well.
Oh yeah. From all his movies.
Yes. Which
Sneaky.
gives me into number 3, 50 First Dates.
Okay.
So Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, they have that perfect on-screen chemistry, much like Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston. The movies that they've made together have all been incredible. And their movies almost made the list, but I grew up.
I can't believe this is actually happening. This is one of those moments. We're sitting here listening to Matt Amos talk about the romantic chemistry between Adam Sandler and...
It's not romantic chemistry. It's on-screen chemistry.
On-screen romantic chemistry.
Yeah. What kind of conversation have you had with Matt? Well, there was this time that he was in Afghanistan and da-da-da-da. And that other conversation where he was like, man, those two actors have really good chemistry on screen together.
I'm a very diverse, well-rounded individual.
Yes.
But 50 First Dates, I mean, it's funny.
We literally had a conversation earlier today about being a point man, going and clearing rooms and like the best places to hide and why you're the number 2 guy's down here. So when the number 1 guy gets shot, that was a conversation we had today. And now he's
look at him now.
Well, see, I was using it.
Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
So we had some some kids come into the office today, and they kept coming in and trying to ambush me at my desk and try to get me. Because anytime they come in here, they come around the corner, they try to sneak, and then I always get one up on them. I scare the crap out of them. I'm pretty sure they had to change some pants after today's episode. But I was like, the one thing that I really took away from the Marine Corps is I'm really good. If somebody's coming in to find me, the places that you're never going to look initially upon entering a room. So I've already got one up on you.
Yeah.
So I was in the corner when they come through the door, and they were looking focused on my desk because that's where the target is, at the desk. And so I'm standing over there. And they come in, and I got his back, and I'm like, "Rah!" And he was wearing a little Spider-Man outfit, and then his sister was wearing a Wonder Woman outfit, and just scared the crap out of him. And then they were scheming on how they were going to get back at me. And I saw them, they would peek their little heads over the door over here, and they'd run off, and I could hear them talking. And so I just snuck out and went into the other room and got behind the file cabinet. And then he was through the threshold of the door, and then I grabbed him on the shoulder and screamed, "Stop it!" and ran out. It was.
This is a fun game until you really scare me, and then I'm upset.
There was probably some trauma that took place today. But that's one of the great things that I took away from the Marine Corps. I know where to hide in a room.
Anyway, so back to your on-screen chemistry between Jennifer Aniston and
Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler. And Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler. They both.
Yeah.
He's just got.
What's the guy from King of Queens? Kevin James.
Oh yeah.
They were in a movie and had good on-screen chemistry.
Did
Chuck
they?
and Larry. I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Fireman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like all of Adam Sandler stuff. I think it's all pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
My kids love Hotel Transylvania, so all three of them.
Yeah.
The one movie that I was really shocked when I watched that I thought was going to be a comedy and it absolutely was not was Uncut Gems.
Oh yeah, that's his new one. That
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
well,
it's not a comedy.
Well, when the Oscars came out this past year, everybody was really upset that he didn't get best male performance.
It was really good.
I haven't seen it yet.
Super good movie.
I do want to see it.
Very twisted. Good movie. Though.
Yeah, heard he did really well. All right.
Well, cool. We need a good word.
Yeah. Who's got the good word today?
I've got the good word today.
All right.
So
Good save, Troy. And over to whoever has the good word.
Yeah, whoever's got it.
That's right.
So I've been looking at, and it's kind of funny because I'm talking about this as I've got an argument between two people going on Facebook, and my notifications have been going all afternoon. But the good word for today, I'm going back to Genesis 11:6, and with the political division that we've seen, and just everybody kind of at each other's throats, pretty much nonstop, on social media. It's become apparent that our leaders have kind of set that tone. They're put in that position for a reason, but if they're fighting, the people are going to be fighting. If they join together and say, hey, we can work on this. And kind of one of the things was I saw where, this whole Reddit, Wall Street stock thing has been
going a few weeks ago.
Yeah, has been going on. And something popped up that AOC said that, I think that this should be investigated or whatever. And then Ted Cruz said,
I agree with her.
I agree with you, and then she says, you don't talk to me. You almost had me murdered.
Yeah.
Right?
I was the one that told you about it because he's like, I think the world's getting better because Ted Cruz and AOC agree on something that I agree with. And I said, no, well, just see what she said to Ted after that, and she's like, well, don't.
And it was like this triangle of AOC, Ted Cruz, and then Don Jr. Basically, they all said the same thing. And it's like, oh, we found something that we can agree on. And then all of a sudden, Olive Branch extended, and then she nukes it.
Like
with
you're not allowed to agree with me because you tried to have me killed.
So, and it's fine for those things, back in the, kind of like in the Marine Corps, kind of the saying was, praise in public, punish in private. Mm-hmm. So if you've got those conversations where you don't agree with somebody, you can have those conversations in private, but don't air that out in front of everybody, especially if you're a leader, because you're supposed to be setting the example of what the country is supposed to follow. And if you guys aren't working together, then the people aren't going to be willing to work together, and those divisions are going to last. And so I think we need to put a lot more pressure on our leaders to lead in a positive manner, in a way that brings people together rather than a divisive manner. And so it brought me back because I was going through and I actually heard this, so I'm kind of stealing part of this from the Unashamed podcast with Jason Robertson and Phil Robertson.
Mm-hmm. And Al,
and Al, and they were talking about this, and it was the Tower of Babel. And so for those who don't know, if you're going to look it up on Wikipedia calls it an origin myth. And I tried to get in and edit that, but it's prevented from being edited. So basically these people were building a tower, to the heavens, basically, and to glorify themselves. Right. And it said, but the Lord, so this is Genesis 11:5, and it says, but the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, if as one people speaking the same language they had begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. So basically that's saying that if we're all on the same page, we're speaking the same language, so to speak, there's nothing that we can't do together. And I think that those politicians, our leadership in this country need to take that and say, hey, we all need to get on the same page. Let's talk about the things that we can agree on. As stupid as something like, Redditors challenging Wall Street might be, and taking them for billions of dollars.
Right.
But it's people working together. And then, when these apps shut people down from trading and them saying this needs to be investigated, hey, we found something that we agree on. Let's talk about that. We don't need to be divisive right now. We're already divided enough as it is. Let's use this as a building block for larger things. And let's work on little problems instead of trying to tackle all the big ones that divide people so much and taking all those on at one time. So I think we should find things that people can work together on and then throw in a tough one once we've mended relationships.
I think one of the more difficult things there, and I'm not going to pick on you too much but the lofty goal of having our politicians do that is probably harder than saying, we need to be doing that. And I've noticed you this year.
So the whole reason that I didn't go there yet is because I'm saving that for another podcast.
Okay. All right.
So that's why
be quiet.
That's why I haven't gone there yet. But because I don't think that we had enough time on this podcast and doing it under a good word, because it's more of what's been on my mind as part of 2021.
But I'll give an example of similar to what I'm talking about. And a few weeks ago in Wichita, there was a fight, not like a fist fight, but a pretty big argument with our mayor and one of the city councilmen. And the next Monday, because our local talk radio has a Mondays with a mayor deal, they brought that up. Dude, he didn't act well at all. The mayor and the councilman didn't either. But, the mayor was visibly shaken up, like threw a stack of papers at the guy. And, it kind of got brought up, fireworks at the meeting. And he went in to say a number of things that, he was wrong, other than saying, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I shouldn't treat somebody that disagrees with me that way. It was more along the lines of, that was bad behavior. Yeah, everybody knows that was bad behavior, but not just a lack of ownership of taking it. And a lot of times I see that we we don't take ownership over our own behavior too, and expect that out of a lot of other people. And I know that the way he was talking, the other guy started it, the other guy this, the other guy that. Well, you wish the other guy would own up to it. Well, why don't you own up to your part as well? And we can internalize that and be better people and be an example for our elected officials. So I'm sorry if I don't want to step on your stuff going forward.
I still have plenty to talk about on that.
Okay.
Plenty.
Well, I like that. Genesis 11:5 and talking about
11:5 and 6.
5 and 6 and how powerful people can be if they're all on the same page, playing from the same sheet of music. If you want another analogy.
Yeah. And like your whole Seinfeld thing, there's a Seinfeld episode for that. Like, Bible covers that.
The Bible covers that. That's true.
Bible has a story on that.
Yep.
Bible covers that.
I love it.
Very true.
What movie was that with Mike Myers?
So I Married an Axe Murderer?
No, he's the guru.
Oh, was that Gold Member 3 or whatever?
Was that the one that ended his career, his film career?
Maybe.
I think it was. The Guru. That was the name of it.
Yeah, it might have been the guru.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that one.
But he was going through all these T-shirts that they were trying to sell for his ashram, and one of them was BIBLE, Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, TM. So I don't know if I can use it, but he had it TM on the movie, so I'm sure he's got it taken in real life too.
Yeah, okay.
That's pretty good.
Well, good deal. Thank you for that good word.
Yes, sir. Let's hear some music. Take it on out.
You got it.
You're supposed to take us out.
All right. Thanks again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Hardheaded. Yes.
Why don't you tune in on Rumble, YouTube, anywhere you can listen to a
Spotify,
podcast.
Apple,
anywhere you can
Zencast.
listen. Yeah, and don't forget to drop us a comment while you're listening and watching, and give us a review on Apple Podcasts, because that helps us get the word out.
And name some movies in the top 3 to help our listeners get some that aren't going to cause an argument with their wife, like Red Dawn will.
Yeah, please.
He went up before he went down.
I was getting ready to jam, boys.